Welcome to Santo, Sam and Ed's Total Football.
There's so many big issues in the world of football at the moment, and Lord knows I can't ask you two about them, so thankfully we have ourselves a proper journalist, a proper expert. Please welcome Chief Football Writer for the Herald Sun, David Davutovic. Good to have you, sir. Before you even start, what?
Anyone called David is involved in the A-League has to be called David. Yeah. So it's Davutovic at the moment.
Like it. Spot on.
What is happening? I mean, you've been all over the David Villa story. We keep hearing so much about it. In your thoughts, do you think he's playing his last game this weekend? Do you think he might come back later? What's the story?
I think he's playing his last game, guys. Yep. A final decision hasn't been made, but obviously they play Adelaide United on Friday at Amy Park. He'll be heading to New York at the weekend. City are hopeful that he'll come back for a few games in December. They'll have negotiations at two clubs, New York and Melbourne, in the coming weeks. Happen to have the same owners as well, guys.
Yeah,
so
that helps. Does it help or does it not help? Because we keep hearing that it helps, but can Melbourne City say, well, listen, we lost Villa. Can New York or Manchester City give us someone else to sort of fill the gap? Or that's not how it works. You get what you get and be happy.
It probably comes down to a bit like having kids. You know, you've always sort of got a favourite son.
He's just got married. That's what I hear.
Do you know something? Should I? You are a good journalist.
No experience there, unfortunately.
Okay.
But look, negotiations will take place, and look, if I was a betting man, I don't think he will be coming back to Melbourne.
Will City retire his jersey?
I'm not sure. Probably not.
No, that's interesting.
But so when they said he was here for 10 games, in your mind, did you think yes he is, or dream about it, babies?
I thought it was going to be around that 7 to 8 mark. Certainly didn't think it was going to be 4. But it's a bit of a moving feast because Frank Lampard was supposed to play for Melbourne City, guys. He was supposed to be here.
How serious was that? Because we heard that, but how close did they actually get?
It was pretty much a done deal. Then the FFA changed the loan rules, so that scuppered the deal. Oh. And then Pellegrini came in at Manchester City and signed him, and that's obviously paid off.
Well, he was Player of the Month for City, wasn't he?
Yeah, City's Player of the Month in September. So
he's not going anywhere, is he? He's going to see out the season.
He's not. He's on loan there until January. Pellegrini's trying to keep him. My info is he's trying to keep him until February, March.
Yeah, right.
MLS season starts in March.
Yeah, right.
So that's where the Lampard Villa deal is intertwined.
But this is weird. I mean, it's great that Melbourne City have been taken over by people that have got some money and want to invest in it. But where does there's a chain of command here. It feels like there's something happening in Manchester, there's something happening in New York. So if John Van Skip wants to put his foot down and say, this is what I want, how much weight does he have?
None.
Yeah.
Well, does he have
With regards to David Villa, I reckon he's got bugger all.
Really?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I mean, look, he was signed by New York City and he's been loaned to Melbourne City, regardless of the fact they got the same owner. So obviously they got Robbie Corrin as their marquee. Another potential Aussie marquee on his way.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So Josh Kennedy is the one that we're hearing, and do we know how real is that? Because John Van Schip was the one that mentioned his name. How real is that deal?
Yeah, he actually didn't mention Kennedy.
No, he
mentioned
didn't.
A couple of others.
Timmy and
Brett.
Timmy and your boy Brett.
Yeah, you're right.
So who's mentioning Kennedy then?
Well, we are now. Is he coming? Do you reckon he was coming to play for him?
We can reveal exclusively on Santo, Sam and Ed.
Stop it.
No, he's on his way,
Josh Kennedy coming to play for Melbourne City. Wow.
Because David, I hear the only thing that's stopping it at the moment is that his team is still they're technically or mathematically still in the relegation zone, so it's a bit hard to make the announcement a bit prematurely.
There's that too. Probably the fact that David V is here, but look, it's only been done. It's all very fresh, you know. The ink's drying, to use a journo term. But look, his contract finishes on December 31. All J League contracts finish then. He'll come after that in January. If he makes the Socceroos Asian Cup squad, we won't see him play for City until probably February. Right. But the club obviously hasn't confirmed that. But don't worry about it. Josh
Kennedy's
back.
He's back okay? Is he still struggling?
Oh, it's not ideal. He hasn't played a lot of football of late. He obviously missed the World Cup squad, last-minute exclusion. But they're pretty confident that he'll be up and running for January.
Hope he comes back.
David, forgive me if I didn't retain a lot of what you just said. West Sydney Wanderers, though, David, they had a great in the first leg of the final. The second leg, what can you tell us about that?
Well, they're checking in as we speak, guys. They fly to Riyadh in Saudi Arabia tonight. Obviously, they won the first leg 1-0.
How many people watched the game? Asian Cup final, first leg in Asia, roughly, do we know how many people actually watch that game?
Apparently, it takes about 3 months to get the Asian ratings. So
Really?
I can't tell you that.
Well, they provide takeaway so quickly.
That's interesting because for many of our viewers, it takes them 3 months to get some of Santo's jokes.
That's so true. Send out a fact sheet.
It's understandable.
But safe to say, it's
Because they're so clever.
Yeah.
I can give you the local ratings, though. 113,000 people watched it here in Australia on Fox Sports. About 88,000 watched the Melbourne Derby. Unfortunately, they were on at the same time. So
Yeah, that was
obviously both would have been a lot bigger if they were back to back.
Can I put those figures in slight perspective? 113, that's a lot of people. But I was watching the Indian Premier League the other night. The commentator made an interesting point.
In India, the first week's coverage reached 170 million viewers.
Okay, now that's 170 million. I don't have my calculator, but that's a lot more than 113,000.
That's amazing.
That's a success. The Indian.
Do you know how much more it is?
What?
It's 170 million more. Round it up.
Imagine they had some players in their prime as well.
Yeah, that's very
Anyway,
true.
we've got off the point. Western Sydney won. Great result.
Yeah.
They're going over there. I think we've got a pretty good chance, haven't we?
Massive chance.
Yeah.
If they score one goal,
Yeah.
Al Hilal will need 3. It's going to be absolutely raucous. 65,000 local fans. Not many Wanderers fans,
many
guys.
going?
Have a guess how many are coming over?
100.
1,000.
6.
12.
12?
12.
Really?
So hang on, there's 65 and then just the tiny...
Can we just name them?
Yeah,
say hello to them?
that is incredible. Well, good luck to them. Do they get a corner or do they just sit on the bench? They just have...
I've got no idea what's
Just
going
watching
on.
12 people do the Poznan is just overwhelming.
They're hoping to get a few more from Aussie expats working in the Middle East, but about 200 applied. You need about 4 pages of your visa to get into Saudi Arabia, so most of them realised it was going to be tough.
Yeah, and the problem is when you get over there, Tony Abbott might cancel your passport on the way back. So... you may never return. You're right. Yeah. All right, you got one more? We got to let David go.
So I'm just
Quick
so
one,
excited
quick,
to
quick.
talk to someone who knows what they're
I know.
talking
FFA
about.
Cup.
Yes, FFA Cup tomorrow night. This team
Bentley
versus that team. No, Bentley
like it,
Greens
boys.
versus Adelaide City. What have you got for us?
Massive game. Look, on the field, it's going to be red hot.
Is the Souvlaki shop open?
It is.
It is.
It is.
Who have
And
you spoken to there? You spoke to the president, etc.
funnily enough, I've made a few calls, and I spoke to the president, Johnny. He said there's only a...
President Johnny.
Of which team?
of Bentley Greens.
Okay, right, yeah.
So,
Johnny from Bentley Greens. Come on, man. Yeah.
they're hosting the game at... Obviously, in Cheltenham.
Oh, in Cheltenham.
I've been out there. It's fantastic. You've got the
Heath
foot of
Soccer
planes flying over from a rabbit. It's very
Capacity, what are we thinking? Crowds?
3,000 max. It's going to be capped at 3,000.
That's
We've
capped?
sold 2,000, so 1,000 tickets at the
great.
gates.
Yep.
And I spoke to George, who runs the canteen.
Oh, how is he?
He's busy. He was outside Safeway as we were speaking.
Getting snagged? Was he getting sausage?
I think he was getting tomatoes and lettuce for the souvlaki. So
Wow, it's going to be a big night.
he told me they've been making pitta for the last 2 weeks. They're going to have 1,000 rolls.
See, this is great.
1,000 pitta rolls and 300 kilos of meat.
All right, with that one,
The
it's on that.
versatility of this man. We started talking about David Villa and we ended up talking about tomatoes at Safeway.
That's so true. Can you please thank head football right the hell, son, David Davutovic. Before we get out of here, we got former Socceroos coming up. We got Europe, Sakari, Sando, Salmon Ed's Total Football. We're back after this.
You've been watching Santo, Sam and Ed's Total Football.